We are back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I am your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by...
Josh Griffey.
Yeah, and we might as well just jump right in.
This is the great week where you're like, God, we could have done like 5 pods this week.
We really could. I got my Colts shirt on. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. The Lakers made the worst decision of all time. Yeah. Super fucking pumped.
Yeah, we got some stuff to get through here. Before we do, right smack dab in the middle of Dinger Week. Thank you guys for watching. It's been fun. It was a lot of fun making those videos. Chucky's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
So, like, any chance we can get that guy out, we're going to.
The best part of Dinger Week was when we had to go back and do more shoots.
Yeah.
And just walked right in the middle of a Little League game.
Oh, yeah.
So, screaming, the likes of, like, Alabama Hot Pocket. And I think Chucky was just pitching, and he was like, shit! Just like, you just see these moms like, come here, kids, get away from these scary men.
Reaction shots of Chuck, and he's just fucking shit, like every other word. It was great.
He had no shirt on. I'm wearing the short shorts. It was a real... Some
kid walked into the field. Some kid walks onto the field. We're like in the middle of filming. This little kid just walks onto the field with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And Chucky, we all stopped and he looks, he's like, I think that kid recognized you and wants to meet you. And I was like, I don't know. Like, he's just kind of walking around. So we're like, we have all these balls out there. We got 20 balls out in the outfield or whatever. So I start walking out there, and the kid's just trying to steal the baseballs.
Yeah.
He didn't give one shit about who I was or any of us were. So he picks up a baseball. I was like, hey, my man, can I get that? And he's like, oh, yeah.
He was doing the really classic where he was kind of looking around at the sky. Like, he's like, where am I?
I'm fine.
And then he would tap the balls with his bat, to try to brush them aside. I took the opportunity to do some good, hey, why don't your parents love you roast comedy on him?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a fair trade.
Yeah. So that was fun. But yeah, I was really hoping to get him on the pod this week, but he's an extremely busy person in real life, busier than us. But we'll get him on here soon.
He's an actual entrepreneur.
Yeah, he is. He's an extremely...
That's how you know he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
He's playing the exact opposite six strings.
Yeah. So here we go. So Andrew Luck. As you can see, I'm a Colts fan. I got a little bit of flack because I posted the Gone Forever Andrew Luck minutes after it dropped. And I'll be honest, my knee-jerk reaction, I was pissed off. I was like that pissed off fan. I was like, I'm going to burn my Andrew Luck jersey. And but you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
And what this guy, the guy fucking got a lacerated kidney playing football.
Just imagine.
Yeah, he basically played for the Colts for 5 years under the Grigson and Pagano era. Mm-hmm. And they did absolutely nothing to protect him.
What was it? They kept taking 7th round offensive linemen that never worked.
Yeah, they never. They drafted 3 people before the 7th round on the O-line, and the whole time they're there,
all of them were bust.
Yeah, how do you do that with the most promising quarterback prospect?
Yeah,
maybe since Manning and Brady and all those guys came out in the last 20 years.
Well, even imagine a world where you're a team who has top 10 best quarterback of all time for years, right? In Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, as he's falling apart and can't throw anymore, Andrew Luck falls in your fucking lap, right?
Yeah.
So you have one misery year.
Yeah.
And then you get Andrew fucking Luck. And they're like, let's not swim into the curb here. Fuck him. He's good.
Yeah.
Let's do everything else but help that guy.
Yeah.
This is the thing though, how much abuse, because everyone, this was the funny thing, because Colts fans were taking mad shit, right? Because my wife actually did the 5K in the morning, so she had tickets to go, and we didn't go. And I was like, fuck, the only meaningful preseason game of all time, we could have been there.
First of all...
But they were booing like crazy. You weren't the only one.
But first of all, well, I didn't boo. I got over that quick, because I came twice. But first of all, the people booing... they're the lowest common denominator anyway. They're the people that are still there in the 4th quarter of a preseason game.
Yeah.
First of all, what are you doing there? You get preseason tickets for free. You pop in for a quarter, have a couple of beers.
Yeah.
And you're on down the road.
It's great,
I'm not
too.
sitting in my seats for 60 minutes going, come on, we got to get this one. It's a big game. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, and also the videos I saw of the booing, I know Barstool put one up. It's in the cheapest nosebleeds too. And so it's just a bunch of Uncle Rico's if I had gotten a shot.
It's the lowest common. You don't want them as fans anyway.
No.
Fuck those people.
No, but I think that's the thing, right? There is the initial of oh man, we're fucked now.
Yeah.
So I understand the initial reaction, but I think you, right? Logical people sit there and you're like, dude, it's hard. The worst take on this, right? I saw what's his fucking face? Doug Gottlieb, right? the worst sports personality
About
ever
being a
who fills in
millennial
for Cowherd. And he's like, it's the most millennial thing ever to quit. I hate that take. And then I also hate the other take where it's like, it's not like he has a real heart. Like he was talking about, this is hard, man. It's a hard, lonely process. It was terrible for me. I'm not living the life I want, right? Which a normal person, anyone else is like, if your job fucking sucks, why can't you quit? And so, but the take was, I fucking read this on Twitter ad nauseum. Mm-hmm. It's not like he has a real job. He plays football. And it's like, okay, guy who works at, said warehouse, I'm going to set you out there with no protection and let fucking J.J. Watt snap you in half.
Yeah.
How long do you think it is until you're fucking in rehab forever?
There's 6'7", 300-pound men that are just muscle-bound freaks.
Yeah.
And their only goal
and that's the bad
is
ones.
To destroy you.
Yeah, for sure.
Every play for 60 minutes, 16 times a year. And it takes that is a real job.
And this is the thing. It's not like basketball where you're like, all right, not as competitive. Basketball, I can see that argument a little more. Maybe baseball. In football, every single play can be the last time you can walk.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like that could happen in any football game.
Yeah, like the chances are exponentially higher than any other sport. Yeah.
So Andrew Luck's getting ready to throw. It's obvious he's had very little offensive line help. And fucking some monster comes around the edge and fucking blindsides him. Mm-hmm. He's had ribs, kidneys, all kinds of fucking injuries. And for people to just say, well, he's playing a children's game. No, he's not. No, these are not fucking human beings that play football. Like these are... It looks like us, but then 1.5 times the size with freakish speed. It's crazy. Like the fact that people can just say, just stand out there and keep getting fucking obliterated.
I remember I met Anthony Costanzo as a lineman for the Colts.
Yeah,
and it was early on in his career, and I was like, I was like one of those guys, like, yeah, we drafted pretty high for him. He's not that good.
Yeah, right.
He must be a softie. And I saw him in person, and he touched the ceiling.
Yeah,
he's like 6'7", and I was like, that guy's in no way a pussy. Like have you seen my twink body?
Yeah.
Compared to no way. Like I'm
and you're
never,
like an average size
no, and
man.
like that's what I was like. I'm never gonna talk shit about these guys again. No. Like he's out there getting murdered.
Yeah.
For my enjoyment.
Here's some
my
perspective.
Enjoyment.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember I was in wrestling camp. Right. We're in Big Ten country, and so I went to a wrestling camp. Right. It was in middle school, I think. Brock Lesnar was at the time. A champion. Right at Minnesota. He was there. And I remember walking into camp and you're just like, what the fuck is that thing, right? Like it felt like a King Kong movie.
He's a bad man.
What the fuck? He's so huge. And his fucking traps go all the way to his earlobes. And his hands are fucking massive. He went on to be a WWE star, a UFC heavyweight champ, right? And people talk shit about him. But if you can beat anyone in the world who was a heavyweight champ, even if they're not in their prime, you're a bad motherfucker,
you're
right?
Good, yeah.
You're in a small percentage
you're
of bad
better at
motherfuckers.
Fighting than me. Yeah.
And Brock Lesnar, that gigantic man I met, was not practice squad capable in the NFL. The Minnesota Vikings were just like, no thanks.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's one of the biggest, scariest men ever.
Yeah.
And they're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of person we're talking. Like, go watch James Harrison workout videos. And he's small for the NFL.
Yeah, but he smokes people,
right.
man.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, anyone who talks shit and they're like, well, I have a real job. I work a 9 to 5. Woo! Like, I would do it. I'd play fucking football for all the money. Let that fucking man, let James Harrison fucking spear you 10 times.
It's like the movie,
and then talk.
The movie Airplane, when the kid's like, "You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar," and he's like, "My dad says you don't hustle," and he's like, "Yeah, well, tell your dad to chase Bill Laimbeer up and down the court for 48 minutes."
Yeah, right.
Like that's what we are compared to
And also, we can all imagine the dad and the fan who says that shit.
Like you were, I get it. You were good in high school. That's fun, but these are men.
Right.
These are men killing each other.
But, I mean, it goes on even further where it's, this guy, because football happens and we're all really into it. These windows for football players are small, right? If this wasn't a quarterback, I don't think anyone would give a shit. But everyone thinks, oh, quarterbacks are protected. It's the soft boy position. Like, that's the best job in sports. No, backup quarterback is the best job in sports. But, I mean, it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
That people were literally, this man was in agony.
Yeah.
And he's looking at another long rehab. Who knows if he would ever have been healthy again?
Yeah.
And then you start playing hurt, you're more likely to keep getting worse and worse injuries. He has $100 million in the bank. He has a family. You said what? He has
kid
a
on the way. Like in a month.
I mean, to me, this is the fucking smartest. I mean, I guess you would say, because I would say it's just the smart decision. Like any person would say, yeah, I'm done with this. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I guess people were more mad about the timing, right? Because
the
Colts
timing
fans are like, we're about here. this season's going to be great. Like, they were like a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, up there.
And now they're not. But to blame it on this fucking guy is crazy.
Well, and it's like I said, like with the Grixon and Pagano had maybe the best quarterback in the league, the biggest future quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And they did nothing. That dude was hurt every fucking game, every week. He broke a rib. He lacerated a kidney. And for 6-7 years, this guy has just been nothing but hurt.
Yeah.
Until last year when we finally put a line together to block for him.
And he was still hurt last year and
then
played
he goes
through.
And gets hurt again or whatever. And he's probably just like, I want to walk around with my fucking kid one day. You know what I mean? Like,
imagine.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair at 32. You know?
Yeah. God forbid he wants to be able to play on the ground with his children.
Right.
And we know he's had at least one concussion, maybe more. Like, football is a scary game, man. Yeah. Like, we all look at it as a game, and there's all these high school bros who are like, the best days of my life. That's when we used to fucking blast corn and bench, bro.
Right.
And, like, I was tough back then. You know how many guys I know that have bad hobbled knees because they played just high school football?
Yeah.
Now extrapolate that out. And this is a guy, too, the thing that I don't think people are understanding. Imagine someone giving you $100 million plus and says you have the keys to the best life of all time, man.
Right.
If you have that much money, anything is at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And then say, hey, walk around hobbled and just do, like, minor exercises to try to get okay and not spend a year with your family. To me, I just don't get it, right?
And I think that's even like the Le'Veon thing from last year. Yeah. He's like, he's made enough money now.
Yeah.
That he's like, this is my price to play football and get my body just destroyed for the year. And if you don't want to pay it, then I'm not going to play. It's because I don't need to. You know what I mean?
To me, it doesn't seem irrational. It's like, I'm worth more. Every NFL player is worth more than they're getting paid for the most part, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that you've heard
relative
of,
to the money that's coming into the league, yes.
Anyone you've heard of, right, is worth more than they're getting paid.
Right.
And now we're in an era now where players in all sports are starting to realize this, right? I'm with them.
I am
just
too.
Because this is the thing. All these fucking armchair former high school lettermen, right? You've never been fucking smashed like these people.
Yeah.
Like the guy who hit you in high school, multiply that by 100 and do it even in practice, they're getting smashed.
Yeah, you've never been laid out by like Terrell Suggs. And just,
no!
Yeah, at full speed.
Ray Lewis murdered a guy and they're like, hey, come over here and keep hitting people. Like, these fucking people are terrifying, right? Like, we just watch it on TV and we're like, well, they got pads. Like, that doesn't matter.
Sure.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If I walked up right now to most of our listeners, just gave you a gut punch, right? And I'm not tough at all. You'd be like, ow! You'd probably get a bruise.
I would. I'd fall
You'd be
over.
like, this fucking sucks. Now imagine that my fist is fucking Terrell Suggs' entire body.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking great. I don't know, but you see this because Le'Veon did it. You saw it with Gronk, right? You would consider him an early retirement,
and he's another guy that went through a lot of injuries. Like,
he had a
great.
They said, okay, we can't hit you in the head now.
Yeah,
right. You can't cheap shot him there, so we'll go for the knees.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
That alters your ability to walk, not only in your prime, but, man, imagine these fucking guys when they get to 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Because Gronk came out this week, almost as if he listens to the pod when we fucking went in on CBD oil. And that's his post-career, right? He's going to be a CBD oil. But he said football was bringing me down.
Yeah.
And Luck said, I don't love the game anymore. Like, it's taken all of it out. These are consequences.
I never thought much of it until I got older. But I had a high school teacher, and he played like 4 or 5 seasons with the Lions. He was a lineman. He was a giant dude, but he could barely walk. Like his legs were like bowed out.
Oh yeah,
and like every step was a struggle. And I was just like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, he must just be old. And like, no, he just got beat the fuck out of every day for however many years.
Yeah.
And like he could only play 4 or 5 seasons or something like that. And he was like, I'm gonna go teach high school.
Yeah,
I can't do this
imagine,
anymore.
And that's your teenage body, which is
and that was like in the 80s
machine.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah. He was probably coked out of his mind too.
So he didn't make he didn't make nearly as much money as these guys are making now either. You know?
Well, now this is it's funny. I had a high school teacher too. Giant guy, played college football and wrestled. Same thing. He could barely walk. But he would always be like, he would never tell us about like his football glory days.
He never said a thing
about
it. His
best thing was he's like, in college once he won a trip for him and his mom to go to Jamaica, I think, because he won a little person throwing contest. He's like, yeah, I threw that fucker about 20 feet in the pool. Got a trip. And I was like, so he doesn't even give a fuck that he played Division I. He was just like, I'll fucking throw this guy.
Did the little person get a trip too? That seems unfair.
It's like, here's your $20. Thanks for showing up to the party.
What a terrible contest.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if there was more than one Little People or what their union's like, but yeah, they just showed up and this guy was like, he's like one of those Brock Lesnar sized guys. You're just like, look at that fucking towering man.
Hey, how'd you win that trip? Exploitation.
Yeah, right. I took a little guy who couldn't really fight that much and I chucked his ass. And now me and Ma get to see sunsets. But yeah, that's what I mean. He was the same way. His fucking legs were bowed out. I'm like, God. So he was hurt all the time and now he's carrying this massive fucking frame.
Yeah.
And, you know, you see this, all these guys, like, they get out of the NFL and they drop, like, 80 pounds.
Yeah.
It just feels wildly unhealthy across the board. And so, I don't know what your take on it is. I feel like this is going to be the norm now. You play just enough to get the big contract, and then first injury, you're like, fuck it.
Yep.
Because Andrew Luck left, what, $60 million on the table?
Yeah, it's 58, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got 100.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
And if you have that much money, your money makes money.
And by all accounts, yeah, he's a smart guy, so he's probably got that invested.
I mean, yeah, he's got a degree from Stanford.
It's probably quadrupled at this point. Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made a really smart decision on national TV, so companies are going to be like, that's a guy with a good brain.
Right.
Like, I would like him.
Right. Then now they're talking like, is he just going to take a year off and come back? And it's like, why would he?
No.
You know,
I think he's going to take a year off and be like, man, it's fucking awesome to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
A famous millionaire. Yeah. Fuck football.
Yeah, and I feel great. Like, I stubbed my toe the other day, and that was the worst thing that happened to me in a year.
He's like, God, my kid accidentally punched me in the pecker, but other than that, it's not bad.
We're filming Dinger Derby. We're filming it, and my backswing, I hit my ankle with the baseball bat, and I couldn't walk the next day.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I took the dogs out for a walk, and one of them railroaded me from behind. I twisted it again, and like
you're bruised up.
No, like I'm serious. Like, but that was enough for me to be like, I'm never doing anything physical. I don't want to do this.
Fuck that.
Sucks. Like my whole foot's bruised, and now I'm at like multiply that times 10,000.
Right.
And that's what all these NFL guys are doing,
dude.
Willingly,
totally.
You know,
but that's what I mean. We're in a shifting time now where I feel like sports culture in fan bases are at odds, right? Like,
right.
The smart sports people and the athletes are way ahead of most fans, right?
I agree.
This concept of, like, I remember that fucking show came out on TV called Friday Night Tykes.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, let's just watch child abuse for an hour. Yeah. Where it's like, there's a 5-year-old, you got to do up, downs, and 2-a-days and smash the brains out of another 5. I have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing he's learning right now is going to get him to the pros, right? Like,
right.
some kid, you can just tell in kids, like, oh, that kid's going to be the one. Like, he played a t-ball game last week. Everyone's running around fucking wrestling, and everyone gets a hit. And there's one kid who's playing first, and you're like, oh, he got every fucking ball. He can already catch. He smashes it. You're like, he's the one kid on the field.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, like, you just know. But this old mindset of these guys who are reliving their glory days, and they're like, I'm just going to grind people into the ground.
Yeah.
That shit's over. Like, you saw the Rams this week are like, hey, we don't need to practice that much.
Yeah.
Like, we're a really good team.
Yeah.
Go heal. Be with your family. Be happier.
Yeah.
The whole concept of training camp anyway is like, come share a room with another grown man and you're a millionaire.
It's
like,
antiquated.
It's old.
It's
fucking crazy. But these guys, they realize they're big business now. Like you said, in the 70s, you weren't making this kind of money.
Right.
At all.
Well,
like, these guys probably had to have jobs after football. That's not the case anymore.
I agree with the concept of, like, you do have to work at whatever it is you're doing.
Sure.
To be good at it. There is value in practice.
Yeah.
There is, but once you're at that level,
yeah.
Like, you don't need to be fucking hitting another man for 7 hours a day every day leading up to the game. The game. Like, you already are at that level. You just have to preserve those skills at that point. You have
and
to
they're
preserve
working
your
out
body.
all the time.
Yeah.
They're watching tape.
You've got
They're doing
there
work.
is some value in it, but it doesn't need to be
But like a guy like Andrew Luck, right? That whole millennial critique that fucking dumbass Gottlieb tossed. Andrew Luck is working harder than almost anyone you've ever met.
Right.
Like, the schedule of an NFL player is insane.
Right.
Like, they're not just, he's injured, so he's just like, you know, oh, I guess I'll just go sit in my jacuzzi for 6 months.
Right.
Like, he's still putting in the fucking time.
Right.
I think this is going to happen more and more, and I hope people start to catch up, right?
Right.
Because, I mean, that's the thing. If you can end your career, like, you see it all the time. I call it a Brian Gumble porn, right? Where he's like, oh, let's go to that thing where the guy's like body's melting, he's drooling on himself, and he can talk to me by moving his eyes on a computer. They do that story all the time on Hard Knocks.
Right.
Like, look at these guys we're not helping from the 70s. And Andrew Luck probably sees that and he's like, fuck that.
Right.
Fuck that.
Right.
And these guys are bigger, stronger, faster. You can do whatever the fuck you want to helmets and pads. there's only like, you're shaving the margins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like human bodies can only, it's like, you know, you could put on football pads. I'll just hit you with my car. You're not protected.
Yeah. Well, I equate it to like practice and all that. It's like when you get to so Eddie Murphy's coming out with that new stand-up special. I'm like, I was talking to some people about it and they're like, well, why didn't he do it for 20 years? Well, here's why. Because he did it. He grinded in the clubs for a long time and he got theater shows and he became one of the most biggest movie stars in the world for almost 2 decades.
And one of the stand-ups,
for almost 2 decades. So you know what he did? He went and made fucking giant movies. He didn't go grind himself back in the clubs in the practice arena where he might get booed if he has an off night. No, he just kept making $100 million movies.
Yeah, I'll do 20 minutes in Poughkeepsie on a Tuesday.
That's what these guys that are bitching about practice, they're like, listen, we make $100 million movies every week.
Right.
Like, I don't need to be killing myself for 7 hours a day and fucking practice. I've already done that for the last 20 years of my life to get to this point. You know what I mean?
I think it's the mindset of people who have not achieved a lot in their lives. And so they're right? Because you can't always help, like, you know, you're just not born with LeBron James's body.
No, you're not.
I get it. So the easy take is the thing you can control in your life is your work, right?
Right.
Like, I can't control that I'm not as talented as, you know, Steven Spielberg or whoever the fuck.
Right.
You know, we make YouTube videos, whatever. We're not on the level of a lot of these guys, but what we can control is how hard we work.
Right.
That's it. So I think the shot is these guys love to say, oh, well, they don't want to practice. They don't want to try. Guess what? You can't, like Brock Osweiler that you guys are trying out, he can't practice his way into being Andrew Luck.
Right.
You can't be a stand-up and practice your way into Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
You can work hard and be the best version of yourself. Some people are better.
Right.
Some people are
Absolutely.
better. And as long as they do
but
work.
But even they had to work to get to where they are.
They do work,
to an extent. Yeah,
no one is that good just on talent alone.
Like
no one. But what I'm saying is they love to devalue the work because there's so much supernaturally talented compared to us in our brains. It's like you see Chris Farley and you're like, that guy was a fucking force of nature.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way he wouldn't have been funny. And we know he had a lot of life problems, but guess what? He was still at SNL every fucking day.
Every day.
He was still on set every day. And if you've ever worked in the entertainment business, those are long fucking arduous hours.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I used to work in it, I'm like, oh, I work in fucking film and TV now. A lot of my early jobs, like, oh, I'm a furniture mover. That works 16-hour days. Like, it's not glamorous
I've
at all.
built sets with you. Like, we did that. You know, it's not new. You're like, cool, I'm going to go work on this. It's not that fun.
They're like, oh, you work in Hollywood? What do you do? Just eat snacks and finger bang Charlize Theron?
Yeah.
You're like, no. Like, that sounds better, but no, not at all.
I am not Seth Rogen.
It's literally just like, imagine hanging out with everyone who's in the crowd
do
at
I
a Slayer concert.
Do I want to get to that
smoking.
level? Yes, that is exactly the trajectory I want to get to.
Did I keep sending checks to Scientology hoping to get in the club?
That's why I've got to pound out fucking, Camp Murphy videos every week and podcasts because I'm still in the practice phase of where I want to be. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. I mean, people just love, like, we even see it on our YouTube comments. These guys were like, that joke sucks, write this joke. It's like, hey, man, if it's that easy, fucking do it. Yeah. Like, I'll watch your YouTube videos and say, hey, 113, suck balls. Like,
don't at me, bro. No.
Yeah. Like, it
is what it is. But that comes with the territory. It is what it is.
No, I'm fine with that. Because I think insulting people's videos is part of the entertainment value, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like, I've always said, part of the joy of going to a movie is going to a bar and then arguing about the movie.
Absolutely.
That's like, because you'll do that, right? Like, if I go see a movie in the theater, I might have 10 conversations over my life about that movie. That's more value than the hour and a half I was sitting there.
That's kind of why I like comment culture, because I'm the guy that I'll go into somewhere, and if all 10 people there like it, I will take the other side of it.
Yeah.
Just
the devil's advocate.
Yeah, just to be, and just to start throwing shit at them, just to see if they really do know as much as they claimed. And you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't even care if I win most of the time. I'll just be like, they'll be like, oh, I love this movie. I'm like, yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
Half the time I haven't even seen it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, it sucked.
You're like, what bullets can I gather from the trailer?
I am the fucking troll. Like, in life. That's my goal. I love it.
Hey, man, it's all good. But what I'm saying, what people love to do is people who are doing what they wish they did, they, in their mind, create this false equation where they're not grateful enough. They don't work at all.
Right.
And if I just had the shot, I would do it.
That's the people that booed Andrew Luck.
Those are the booers.
Yeah, that's the people that booed Andrew Luck.
I'm sorry your life fucking sucks. You'll never,
if
you work the rest of your life, you won't be Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not his fucking fault.
Yeah.
That's not his fucking problem that you're putting on him.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's smart that the guy wants to have a great rest of his life with his wife and kid.
You would
think Andrew Luck's not going to go on to something else amazing?
Yeah. Oh, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, he did, the press conference, and somebody asked him about the booing. He's like, yeah, it hurt a little bit. And then he woke up the next day.
Yeah.
And he got on his Chase app, and he's like, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm feeling good.
I feel good as fuck. He started booing himself.
Yeah.
He was like, boo, boo,
like,
boo.
Man, I'm going to go to Germany like Kobe and get one of those fucking robo knees. I'll be fine, dude.
I would just write boo me on the back of my car, my fucking $300,000 Bentley, and just roll around town and be like, who's got some booze now?
No, that's the one thing I'm not with Luck on. It's like, come on. It's the same thing.
But he would never do that. Like, he's just not that type of guy.
No, because he'll disappear into the upper echelon of best lives ever.
Right.
And the rest of us will be arguing about Jacoby Brissett. That's how this works. I don't know, man. I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he got out as intact as he can be, and I hope he's happy.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. NFL fans, you need to brace yourself for this. This is going to start happening, right?
Yep.
If you have a receiver, a running back, a quarterback, and they're on their third contract already, they could be done at any time.
Yeah, well, I was talking about, I was looking at guys like Keenan Allen.
Yep.
He's a phenomenal football player, but look at his injury history.
Yeah.
And now he sees this, like, you wonder if some of these other guys are like, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I've got two houses.
Zeke's holding out for the same reason.
Right.
Le'Veon. But this is the other thing, too. I think sports culture is changing where we still are stuck in these old conversations of, they didn't want to get a championship. Like, Andrew Luck won't make the Hall of Fame. He's tarnished because he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He doesn't give a fuck. He's got 100 million. Like, we're just in this age now where it's people don't have the Michael Jordan argument, right?
Yep.
He's the best because he has 6. Right? Like, that's so black and white and not nuanced. These guys are like, I don't give a fuck what you think about my legacy. Like, there are guys that want to win, and when you're doing something, you want to be the best.
Right.
Fine. But at the end of the day, these guys are there to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? Our conversations about their value don't matter as much as their actual value.
Well, like, the question they're asking themselves now is like, like Andrew Luck, I bet he wants to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's a super competitive guy.
Sure.
But I get these guys are asking themselves now, like, what is my legacy worth? Yeah. Is it worth me being laid up in a hospital bed at 45, pissing myself, and fucking like not being able to walk? Like, oh, but I got a ring. Like, who fucking cares, man?
Cool, you can hawk that to get more dialysis.
Like Junior Seau fucking killed himself. You know what I mean? Because of it's becoming increasingly not worth it.
Yeah.
To get killed for that money.
And I mean,
you know what I mean?
These guys are. We always forget too. We're in our mid-30s, man. These guys are kids. These guys are fucking young.
And honestly, that's what surprised me the most about Kyler Murray, was that because he already was signed to a baseball contract. First of all baseball money is guaranteed. That guy was a top prospect.
Dude, they're signing 10-year contracts
now. He already had
now.
like a $3 or $4 million bonus or whatever, and like he probably could have played 15, 20 years if he's as good as they say he was or whatever. 15, 20 years without killing his body, and he chose football, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah, and maybe he just loves it more. I can't knock the guy for his decision.
He fucking
but
loves football, right?
But if it were up to me right now, I'd be like baseball all day. Like, let me go. You know what I mean? Let me go make some guaranteed money for 15 or 20 years and have my knees and my head when I'm done.
Hey, do you want $200 million over the next 10 years versus, to sit on a bench?
Yeah, versus if things, if things go not even wrong, but like almost regular now.
Yeah.
I might be done in 5 years.
And even him, who is fucking tiny, right?
Yeah, he's a little dude,
So that's scary.
He's not little to me, but he's little
to the NFL.
Relative to the NFL.
All NFL players are huge to us, right? Yeah. But that's what I mean. So that is a scary thing, the lack of thing. Plus, he's limited on his first deal by NFL rules.
Right.
Dude, I would have gone baseball too. But that's what I mean.
You can thank Jamarcus Russell for that.
Yeah, right?
Thanks, $100 million.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell.
I bet you do.
He was the first viral YouTube athlete where it's like, did that guy just throw it 70 yards through the upright on one knee? Let's not even worry about him drinking fucking cough syrup. Like, it's cool.
Sipping on the scissor.
They're like, did you? And it's like, hey, GM, what scenario in the game do you think he's going to be throwing off one knee? Wouldn't that already be down?
Right.
No, it's cool. Don't look into him. It's fine.
Well, and the other thing I loved out of this, a friend of me and Kent Murphy, Matt Overton. Mm-hmm. Did you see his tweet where he was like, "All you people bitching about your season." He didn't say it like that. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing, but I'll buy your season tickets and donate them to the families at Riley Children.
Sure.
If you want to be a bitch about it, give them over. I'll do it. Man.
I stand.
Yeah.
I'm for fans bailing on teams all the time. Yeah. If you see this Andrew Luck thing and you're like, it hurts you shouldn't be doing anything that makes you irrationally stupid mad like that.
I agree.
To where you're like, fuck a grown man who wants to make a business decision. So fucking leave. And then, let these kids go to football games.
Like, I bought these season tickets. Like, if I go to a game, I'm like, I just want to be entertained. I hope my team wins while I'm there. But, like,
I just want to drink beers.
Just gonna be like, this isn't going exactly how I planned it to go. Like, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, the Colts. It's like Andrew Luck should have just stayed, and we could have lost in the playoffs, and he could be damaged goods forever.
Right?
Because I want it.
Yeah.
Because I put in 9 to 5.
I pay their damn salaries.
It's crazy, but you see these guys too. It's like, okay, so think of the guys who just keep hanging around because they're like, I need that championship for my legacy.
Right.
Does it really matter?
But
like LeBron can win 5 titles. There will still be a huge amount of people that are like, he's not Jordan. He already had an injury. He's got tons of fucking Hollywood opportunities.
Yeah.
If I'm LeBron, I'm like, dude, like my legacy's set.
Yeah.
Like if you can still be having the argument that LeBron is not top 3, like he's like right in the category, right? And you can never have a definitive, right? So he's like Kareem, Jordan, Magic, LeBron, like he's in that mix, right? For some people he'll be 1, others he'll be 4, but like he's top 5, guaranteed lock, never going to change, and he's already won multiple titles on multiple teams. Like what else does this guy have to do? Like if he has another injury this year, walk the fuck away.
Yeah.
Like what is the legacy worth to? Because that's the thing. LeBron has worked so fucking hard, and he gets killed because he moves teams to try to win titles. He gets killed because he's trying to get teammates to help him win.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's like, hey, it's a team sport and I need help. We fucking murder him for that.
Yeah.
And then he gets titles. He beats one of the greatest teams of all time with Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then we're still like, no, fuck that guy. Like
I'm still like that. Fuck that.
Yeah. If Andrew Luck had stayed injured and won 1 Super Bowl, I mean, he gets a bust in a museum he'll never go to.
Right.
And, maybe does irreparable damage. Yeah. Like, does that matter? Like, we still can't look back at Andrew Luck and just be like, yeah, he was amazing, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have the nuance to be like, hey, some guys just are really good but get hurt.
Yeah. And
it's fucking crazy.
It's fine. But, it's a funny thing. Just determining that worth, personally. And I think that's what Andrew Luck did. It's not worth it for me anymore. I'm walking away.
No, dude.
And, I just can't understand how you'd be mad about that.
I mean, again, I get the immediate, like, we're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, but, like, dude, come on.
Yeah. My knee-jerk reaction on Facebook, I was like, I'm going to burn my Andrew Luck jersey and set it at the feet of the Peyton Manning statue as an offering.
Right.
This is like my knee-jerk. And then, like, I stepped back, and I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Knowing the Colts, they'll probably get the next fucking greatest quarterback, and they'll be fine.
Right. Jim Irsay will eat some pills, and he'll find somebody, and it'll be good. But, I mean, even, like, Pat McAfee he walked away.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he was a punter, and so, like, everyone's like, oh, he's a punter, but, like, he made a decision. He didn't, because that was in the Grixon era, and he was tired of working with those fucking idiots because he could see
left millions on the table.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what? I've always wanted to be a comedian and do that. I'm in a situation right now where I can go after that full steam.
Yep.
Fuck it. And
gamble on yourself.
And I was like, at first, because he was one of my favorite athletes. Obviously, he was doing a video, but like he was a great personality around Indianapolis. He was always involved in stuff. He was on the radio shows, and he was just funny. He was a good dude. And then he was just like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah. I don't need it. They need me more than I need them.
Right. And I think all athletes are doing that math now.
Yeah.
Because like I said, what fans think of you and your value doesn't matter to your actual real world value. Mm-hmm. Your value is, can you be good with the people you love in your actual life?
Right.
And your bank account. Right. Like that's it. Once you have that, then fuck what everyone else says.
And it's in the other argument that people, and they say like, well, back in the day, these guys, they would play through it and, in the 60s and 70s. And stuff. Well, first of all, you're right. They did. You're right.
Yeah, sure.
Inherently, you're right about that. They did. But here's why. Because they were making $15,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that was how, if they didn't, they couldn't feed their families.
Yeah.
It wasn't like today where they're pocketing, $7 million, $300,000 a week on
Andrew
one
Luck's
game check.
Great grandkids are going to be rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back in the day, they were making store clerk money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they didn't have any other skills because all they did their whole life was play football. So if they didn't play football, they weren't making money. You know what I mean?
I actually adore the back in my day argument because I just go, oh, this guy's a fuckhole.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to listen to, if you start an argument with, well, back in the day, I'm like, well, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Everyone who uses that argument,
I don't like change,
is an idiot. Yeah, guess what? Football players sucked more back then than they do now.
Yeah.
They didn't make money. Like, the fact that
they were tough guys. I'm not devaluing the toughness of them, but that was survival for them. They don't have to do that anymore.
No, being a tough guy is different than being an NFL player and an athlete.
Right.
And a business, which these guys are. Mm-hmm. The goal is, these were guys that used to play a game more because they loved the game. I mean, they were still famous. They were still making good money for their time.
Yeah.
But the argument, and I fucking hate this whole bullshit of, because you see this all across the country now, where it's just people are always like, every fucking thing we do, back in my day, I liked the way it used to be. Nothing. It's always best to live in the time you are in now.
It always
right?
is.
Unless you're in a war zone, right?
Yep.
Because people are like, the 80s. I'm like, all right, less AC, shittier cars, smoking on planes. You know, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You couldn't stream movies?
Yeah.
Like, what are you like, right now is amazing.
Well, and I remember my dad telling me stories about, baseball players when he was a kid that would have jobs.
Yeah.
In the off season. Like, they would go and sell cars for 3 months. And then go back and play baseball. Yeah, and it's just a whole different time. There was the stakes. Right. The stakes were very different. Back then, it's not devaluing their toughness or their will or their love of the game.
Right,
it was a very different. The stakes were incredibly different.
People should be judged based on the rules of their era.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, you have this fucking world of Uncle Ricos who are now these fat, out of shape losers who hate their lives. Right. And they're just like, well, once in high school, I used to fucking munch box 3 times a week because I was on the O-line. And now they hate their lives, so all they do is say, back in my day. And it's like, just because you were happier doesn't mean the world was better.
Right.
It absolutely was not. Right? Just because no one's sitting on your face anymore, that's a you fucking problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fix it. You know what I mean? Why don't you go out there and fucking exercise and try to take Andrew Luck's position? Then he'll be munching box for the rest of your days. Oh, my God. The back in my day argument, that is just anyone you know, it's the dumbest, right? Yeah. And you can make the new, like, I do like the arguments of like, well, Jordan's era was different than LeBron's. That's different. That's like saying 90s era was just better because they're tougher.
Right.
No, that's just the facts of what the league was. Like, it's not better basketball or worse. It's just what it was.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, shut the fuck up about back in my day. I hate those guys. I fucking hate. You know what? Yeah, go back in a world where it's like, I just can't watch every stand-up comedian ever at the press of one button.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I can't just tweet at my fucking role models and have them respond to me. You know, like, everything now is better.
Yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Every fucking thing is better.
There's still work to be done, but it's still better. Like, the evolution is a positive step. In most
time you're in is not the end of the game. Like, you can't look today.
In fact, the only time shit goes bad is when people take a step back and they're like, they try to go back to the old days. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, ooh, gross.
And everybody's always, let's go back. And then as soon as you do, you're like, fuck, we shouldn't have done that. You know why? Because eventually it sucked, and that's why it changed.
Yeah.
It's just...
Anything that was cool and made money, we still have. Right? This reminds me of the, hey, lady who's going to the country music concert, maybe leave your high school titty outfit at home. Some things have gone wrong. Leave that where it belongs. No,
It's like when they remade Ghostbusters. They're like, let's remake that.
I like the remake.
Oh, God damn.
That's neither here nor there. It's not a perfect movie, but the cast was really good.
The cast is great. The movie sucked.
Yeah, I was like, why is this so fucking cartoony?
They didn't need to step back in that. It was already perfect. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation for a different day.
Let's just step in gender politics right now.
Go into Ghostbusters. No.
You know what, ladies? It's time to step up. You're not as tough as I used to be in high school. Okay, we do have a lot of NBA stuff to talk about, too. I kind of...
So anyway, I'm not mad at you, Andrew Luck.
No, we love you, Andrew Luck. Good on you, man.
Yeah, good for you.
Be rich. Be happy, man.
I'm
jealous. I'm jealous.
That's, All
right, so we had some good NBA stories. Obviously, I got to talk... The Lakers fucking re-signing Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
For the savvy LA fans, this is actually my Meta World Peace jersey. Because I was running around frantic. I was like, hey, mate. That's my wife. I'm like, where's my Dwight Howard jersey? And she's like, we got rid of that. You were never going to wear that again. And I was like, no. I kept that shit for years because I was like, there's going to be one great video of me lighting it on fire when the Lakers win another title. The choice was taken away from me. So I'll still wear a jersey from the same train wreck era, right? I remember the big four. I'm like, we got this, bro.
Right.
We're done. Dwight Howard coming back to the Lakers. It might be the most fitting Dwight Howard ending.
Just talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Insane. It's fucking insane. And I know, again, it's like when we did the John Wall. People are like, well, actually, guess what? Dwight Howard sucks. And he sucked for a long time.
Yeah.
And yes, we need a big body. He can still rebound a little.
He'll be a serviceable backup, I think.
Yeah. Like,
as long as he can fit himself into that role. But he had an okay year last year. Like,
no, that's what I mean. He's still an okay guy. Yeah. But it also is like, have a little coolness with your fans, man. Like, what do the Laker fans have to do this again? Because he's like, well, don't worry, I'm cool now. I'm coming back. I'll change my number. You'll forget. Yeah. That guy was a piece of shit when he was on the Lakers, man. He was a locker room cancer. And this goes back to back in my day. Well, Kobe's like, this guy's a new style athlete. He doesn't like to exercise. And everyone's like, but his shoulders are huge. He must. No, he is a locker room cancer. Why do you think he keeps getting passed around? A guy with that kind of talent. And again, he was injured.
He used to be a bad man, but then
when he was on the Lakers, he had a massive back injury. I was just like, this whole, I have to say, like, the whole LeBron Lakers experiment, like, honestly, just go look at the Lakers roster.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool. They got 2 of the top 5 best players in the league right now.
Yeah, and then 10 of the worst.
And then what the fuck? I mean, it literally is like you're just doing like a. If you wrote NBA players on a Jenga tower and knocked that shit over,
just picked up.
Yeah, you get the first 8 you see. It doesn't make. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a ragtag crew.
No, but him coming back, and this is. I guess this is a question for you. Do you think more? How do you think about athletes coming back to the scene of the crime and being like, I can fix this?
Yeah, well, it's a funny thing, and my favorite was, so they go and re-sign him, and then it was on Twitter or maybe Instagram, but it was the Lakers, and they popped out an image, and it was AD and LeBron and Dwight Howard, like, but it was like and they did like a 3-man pose, like I don't know if they were trying to sell us this is the new big 3, but it was like, I mean, they're big.
Yeah, I'm like, in your Photoshop, did you at least get like early 2000s Dwight Howard?
It was like, it almost made me feel like that was the 2 older brothers and like the little brother, and he was like, "Can I be in the picture?" I'm like, "God, I guess, dude. Yeah. Like, you don't belong here." But
it's the exact thing of like, I'm out with my tough friends, so I can talk a little more shit. Right? I'm gonna get
some. Standing behind him, like, hold me back.
What's up, bro?
I'd do it. If they weren't holding me, I'd kill you.
Hey, LeBron, you got me if this pops off. All right, cool. Let's go. Whoa. No, it's actually funny though, because I'm super stoked for this Lakers season. Because as you know, I'm way more into storylines than the actual games.
I know.
And I was like, this is going to be insane. Well, and we actually had a bet like over under how many practices before Rajon Rondo's just throwing fists.
Yeah, fighting somebody. Oh, yeah.
Rondo Rondo's like, hey, another guy who's way bigger than me. I can pretend I want to fight.
Maybe that's how the Lakers are constructing their lineup. They're like just sitting there with Rondo and being like, do you hate this guy? And he's like, no. And they're like, okay, we can bring him in. Yeah, there's only like 8 people in the league that he doesn't hate. So the Lakers are just trying to get those. And he's like, I'll learn to hate him.
No, yeah, we're loaded with all these guys that used to, like, they should have put Rondo in the photo. He was good 8 years ago. Like, sure. Yeah. No, it's a weird time in the NBA. I like it because the Lakers too. They're like, what do we need? Guys who can't shoot, tough guys that aren't tough. It's like they're just going so against the stream of what the NBA is.
Right.
There's another good NBA story this week. James Harden came out. And, of course, you know how the Rockets...
The one-legged 3?
No. Oh. Harden came out and said the media's perception of him, their narrative, essentially cost him with MVP voters, right? I think this is hilarious, right? James Harden's entire game is based on manipulating the referees and the rules of basketball, right? He is gaming the system, essentially, as I'd say it, right? For him to come out and say, hey, the exact thing I do to get anywhere near the MVP also cost me the MVP. It's the most Houston Rockets thing where they're like, actually, we're going to say that we won that Warriors title the year before because we reported that the refs suck in our own building. This is the most Rockets move. Dude, what do you think about... Because this is the other thing I like. Piggybacking on this, he also came out in earlier this year was like, hey, I have a new move that I'm busting out this season.
Yeah, the one-legged 3.
Yeah, you're going to think it's a travel, but I promise you it's not.
If you have to put a video out, breaking it down step by step, it's a travel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have to put a video out.
Here's another video. Go Google James Harden traveling.
I do
it's
like
a long mixtape.
I do like that he's taking the scientific method, though, and disproving it before he here's why it's not a travel. He's not trying to prove that it is a travel. So that perhaps he paid attention. And
James Harden is NBA fake news, dude. That's all he fucking is. But I do love the balls of just being like, He's just claiming the MVP for himself.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, you guys just unfairly think I travel every play and push off and foul every play.
He's Central Florida, that MVP. He's like,
can I just... I'm just going to build a replica. Is
undefeated
that clear?
world champs.
Jesus Christ.
Like Alabama.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. Because then we have a lot of perception questions in the NBA now, right? Dwight's like, I'm a good guy, perception. James Harden, I cheat all the time, and you guys don't like that, and it hurts me. But this was actually a really fun one, and I'd love your take on this. Someone's just honking outside of my house. That's cool. So Devin Booker was playing a game of pickup, right?
Yeah.
Some guys decided they were going to double team him.
Yeah.
He got pissed about it. He's like, you shouldn't be double teaming in a pickup game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
NBA Twitter went nuts, right? People just taking sides all over the place. KD and some of them like, yeah, you shouldn't be double teaming in a pickup game. What do you think about this?
It's infuriating.
Isn't it?
It
Isn't
really
it?
is.
Okay, I thought I was on a...
He's like... Well, first of all, his argument against it was, he said, I get double teamed all year.
Yeah.
I don't need to be double teamed here. I want to work on my game. So let's just break that statement down.
Right.
I get double teamed all year. First statement. I don't want to get double teamed here because I want to work on my game.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to work on your game based on what happens to you in real life, then you should work against what happens to you in real life. So if you want to get better at being double teamed, play against the double team.
Yeah.
Play against the triple team.
Yeah.
So first of all, like it's just a cop out because he was mad probably because he was losing to like J. Cole and some other like everybody else. Everybody else has lost to J. Cole this summer in pickup, and so he was But first and second of all, like why are these guys filming their fucking pickup games and being like.
Yeah.
And why are you why am I watching them? Like I feel like an asshole for being like even subscribing to that shit.
I'm a little guilty of this because I'm always searching for the has Ben Simmons learned to shoot video. So there's a lot of that. Like, look at Ben Simmons.
The answer is a resounding no.
He made 8 threes in a row today. I'm like, well, there's no defender. It's practice. Like. Okay.
And he might have missed the 16 before that. Right. They just didn't run that into the video. Yeah.
He made 8 in a row. I'm sure that's going to happen. No, this is the funny, because it would be the equivalent of like, Shaq's like, I got to get better at my game. So I'm just going to do videos of me dunking on 10-year-olds because that'll make me look cool as fuck. This is the thing is when you're as talented as Devin Booker thinks he is.
He's a good player. Yeah.
I mean, that guy's got offensive skills.
For sure.
To then be like, I'm so good offensively. If we could just make it way easier for me.
Yeah.
That feels a little bullshit. And I don't know, because it's different in the NBA gyms because it's a locked system, right?
Yeah.
They're there to play and practice. So, whatever. If we're taking this to the streets, though, to like actual guys, we all remember this. Of course you're double teaming in pickups because you don't want to lose the court.
Yeah.
You're double teaming when they're down to their last point, you're fouling the shit out of everyone who touches the ball.
It just came across crazy. It's like, God, just don't freaking double team you stupid buttholes, Like shut up, dude.
Yeah. Don't throw curves out. I only hit heaters.
And like after that, he's the guy that like every time he goes to the rim of the pick, he's like, oh, I got fouled. Yeah. Every time he misses a shot, he's like, I get ball. I got fouled. And they're like, no, you didn't.
This is where Gottlieb missed. Like, this is the most millennial thing I've ever heard. Yeah. Gottlieb fucking missed his target.
Blew it, man.
It's like, aren't you a basketball bro, Gottlieb? What the fuck? No, this is just bad. And then everyone weighing in, like, I was surprised how much people cared.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, guys, I don't know maybe this is the thing. They're all like, hey, we're only here for mixtape stuff. Like, let's not actually play
that's
defense.
what it is. They're just like making mixtapes.
It's like, that's fine. But you guys are all so good at basketball. Like, I have your highlights of actual NBA games against actual competition.
Right.
I don't care if you made 8 threes in an LA Fitness.
Against J. Cole.
Yeah, and I don't know who 6 of the players are on the court. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. You got Bieber over there shooting threes. Like, who knows, man?
Yeah. How many Instagram followers does this guy have? You want
to play, Doug?
You want to be the 5th?
You want to run?
Yeah, let's go. How tall is he? 6'1"? Perfect.
Speaking of basketball, a golden opportunity was missed, I feel like, last week from one of our favorite subjects, Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo.
Team USA goes and loses a game.
Dude, what the fuck?
And
I saw that.
How did Carmelo not tweet just like that? The emoji of the girl like this that just said, just saying.
Yeah.
Like
throw a couple eggplants in there.
Yeah. Like it should have just been right there. He's like, I told you. Should have picked me, dog.
You guys didn't want to lose and have a terrible locker room? What up?
What? How am I not on this team?
Hey, I heard Dwight Howard's a cool guy now, too. Let's go.
Oh, man. All right.
Man.
That's probably a good cue to get out of here. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys keep going on Dinger Week. You guys are killing it. We're having a great time with it. Mm-hmm. Also, just a disclaimer, if you do happen to run our videos with closed caption on, just let it be known that those are wrong and we don't write those. That's some terrible... I'm just setting this up for failure here.
I must say, I'm a bit infuriated that YouTube allows this to happen.
We're constructing a letter to YouTube right now to get some more quality control on that. It's not good, and that's not it's not what And so from now on in the videos, if I over enunciate the word dingers, it's to counteract that.
Jesus,
good
the
Lord.
fact that YouTube is just makes an algorithm that lets words like that appear in closed caption is baffling.
It's baffling.
We saw some of your comments. That's not us.
It's not us.
And if you're our only,
I will send you the script.
Yeah, if you're our deaf fans, sorry, we did not say that. I promise you.
Honestly. No, but thanks for watching, guys. Check out CoachKMurphy.com, jawbats.com. Grab you one of those bats. Keep showing it.
Shirts.
Yeah. Comment. Tell us your best catchphrases. We love hearing that stuff. So, till next time, I'll see you guys. Bye.